Welcome, everyone. This is a follow along for strength, flexibility, and moving your body in a whole lot of different ways. A lot of you guys told me you would enjoy a longer follow along, so we got this 30-minute hitter for you. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to guide you through this and tell a story at the same time. We will see how I do. From the squat position, I'm going to turn to one side and I'm going to move into a lunge. I'm going to let my hip move forward and down in order to open up the hip flexors and the quads. Then I can reach up to the ceiling to add a bit of spinal twisting in. I'll return to my squat and then do the other side. So this story begins back in high school when I was playing basketball. I was fortunate enough to play varsity ball when I was a sophomore, and it was such an awesome experience. I was just so excited to be on the team. And I was the point guard. I was the starting point guard, and we had some great scorers on our team. We had some great players in general, and my job was just to kind of take care of the basketball, not turn it over, and get it to our star players who were going to score. And we did really well. We won our league, went into playoffs, and I was just so stoked just to be on the team and to actually be a part of it. You know, I was just in that state of like just enjoying myself, you know, and not really worried about anything else other than just playing basketball and being around all these older guys who I looked up to. And as I moved on to junior year, the team changed quite a bit, obviously. We had new people coming in, seniors going out, and I developed a larger role on the team. I started being one of those scorers and started to be one of those guys that you rely on to do things and to make plays and whatnot. And this was great, obviously. I enjoyed being a large part of the team and scoring points. I mean, scoring points is great, right? You get a lot of attention from people. Once you start becoming a solid player and you're making buckets, people start looking at you differently and you start getting a lot of recognition. And once again, we had a great year. We won our league. We went on to playoffs. You know, this was a long time ago. I don't quite remember everything, but I do remember that we definitely won our league. And now I want you to squat down. Place your hands out in front of you as far as you can, like you're stretching. And then you're going to pull yourself forward. You can drag the toes along the ground. So reach, press into the ground, lean the shoulders forward, and drag your feet with you. So where was I? Life was good. I was playing basketball. I was becoming, or I guess I was, a star player on the team, and I was enjoying myself. You know, this is a lot of what I would spend nights out shooting baskets in my front yard when I was young, just thinking about being a good player when I grew up. And some of this was coming true, and it was pretty awesome. So then, of course, we move into that senior year, and senior year is big, right? That's when it's your time to shine. That's when you're the man on campus, and you want to do your best. So I remember we were playing another team, obviously. We weren't playing ourselves. We're playing another team for our league championship, right? To determine who the champion of the league is. And this game was just a packed house. I mean, like, the gym was so loud. I've never seen anything like high school sports, just because the whole town comes out. You know, high schoolers are loud, and it just makes for a pretty crazy environment. So let's go ahead and relax. Those crouch slides right there are pretty heavy on the wrists and the shoulders, and they're so good for developing pushing strength, especially with the straight arm. A lot of the time we don't train with the straight arm, and it's such a good way to train. Next, we're gonna move into a single arm tabletop rotation. And honestly, I just made that up on the spot, but I'm pretty sure that's a good name for this. So put your hand right behind your hip. You're gonna plant on one arm, and then you're gonna bridge your hips up high, and you're gonna rotate your torso away from the arm that's planted. The rotation of the torso will really open up that side of the chest. And I want you to put a big emphasis on a strong shoulder, keeping that back of the shoulder really lit up here. So it's game time. The gym is packed and everyone's there for you. Everyone's there cheering for you or maybe cheering against you, but there's a lot of attention on you. And, I won't lie, this senior year, I think my ego got really wrapped up in this person that I was supposed to be, this person that I was kind of playing as a role, and it was all based on what I could do athletically and my physical attributes. Let's go ahead and switch sides here, and these are great, right? You're really feeling that shoulder open up. See if you can get those hips higher and higher as we go and put more extension into the spine. So we lose the game, and this means we lose the league. We're not the champions of the league, and this is the first time that we aren't in the 3 years that I've been playing. And I remember feeling really bad. I remember feeling like I let everyone down. I remember feeling like I let myself down, and I didn't know how to process these emotions at all. I essentially just didn't. I tried to push it away, not let myself really feel what was going on and just distract myself. And looking back on this time, I know that I lost a lot of confidence at this point in my life, and I didn't know how to deal with my ego taking a big hit. I didn't know how to deal with having such a big ego, to think that everyone cared so much about this. And I'm taking a break here, not in the story, in the video, because I know that sometimes I move super quick. So just let yourself relax a little after those tabletop rotations, and we're gonna do a monkey hop. So you start in a squat, you place your hands right beside you, and then you move your body through your shoulders back in front of your hands. Very simple here, and you can hop up and make your feet go high, or you can drag your feet along, whatever feels good for you, but try to put the weight in the shoulders as you move yourself sideways. Now, the reason why I tell this story is not just to, go back over my glory days in high school, but I think everyone has had a situation like this in their life where they built up a lot of expectation around what type of person they should be, and whether that expectation was put there by you, most likely, or put there by other people around you, but maybe you are just imagining that that's what they expect of you. For a lot of people, you may have had some big career goals and those didn't pan out, and now maybe you're living in a state of feeling like you didn't live up to what you were supposed to do. And it's a shitty feeling. It doesn't feel good. But this feels good. Go ahead and relax after those monkey hops. Give yourself a little dance around. And what I've learned as I've gotten older is that you don't have to do anything. You can do whatever makes you happy in this present moment. And any expectations that are put there by other people or by yourself, forget them. That's just your ego talking. So let's move into a forward fold stretch here. So you can keep the knees slightly bent, and I want you to bring the torso down as low as you can go. Doesn't matter if it's much less than mine. You just bring it down. You can grab the backs of your legs, pull yourself down deeper, and you can try to straighten your knees in this position to give those hammies more of a stretch. Now we're going to walk forward using the forward fold stretch dynamically. So one leg moves forward, that leg will stay straight, and you're going to bend down, see if you can get your hands down to the ground. If you can get the fingertips, maybe you can get the palms. Each step, try to get yourself a little bit deeper. Here I'm like, ooh, can I get that elbow to the toe? Not quite. Maybe it's coming, who knows? And what I really learned from this experience with having my ego really shattered from losing a basketball game is that there should never be anything that I'm so wrapped up in, that my identity is so tied to in this fake way, that would break me, you know? Like the only thing that matters is that I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and that I'm okay with being me and just living the life that I'm living. And if I can let others break that down, then I'm pretty fragile and really tied to an image rather than just being okay with being me. And that's, for me, that's always my ego talking. And it's something I'm still constantly working on is, am I taking this action? Am I doing this thing because that's truly what I want to do? Or am I doing this because I want to be perceived as cool or good from others? And we're going to move on to this movement that I really love. It's called a Sissy push away. So you're going to push your hips and knees forward, and you're going to extend your spine back. You're going to touch down on this piece of furniture we have behind us, and then you're going to rotate the body up. So a lot of the weight here and a lot of the force is created by the legs, but you can also use that hand to push you and then to create momentum to rotate to the other side. Keep your butt squeezed, keep your core tight. So the height of the object plays a big role here, obviously. If you want to do this really easy, you can start with just like the arm of a couch. And as you progress, you can try to go lower and lower. So I'm just going to show, I think, 2 reps on each side going all the way down to the ground here. And this can be a good goal to work towards. I recommend spending some time going down to an object before you do this full version, unless you have an awesome back bridge. If you have an awesome back bridge, then this movement will probably be a little bit more second nature for you. So that is the Sissy push away. Those are taught to me by my coach. His Instagram handle is wbrown7. I recommend giving him a follow. And next we're going to move into a basic lat stretch from your knees. And you're going to take one arm and you're going to thread it through the knee and the other arm. And then you're just going to try to really expand the back and take that shoulder and start to lower it down to the ground gradually. Now, the wider you can make your back here, the more of a stretch you'll feel through those big lat muscles. And back to our story, I want to share some tools that have helped me get clear on what I want to do and not what I think I should do. One of those tools has been journaling. When I write down my goals, I can more clearly see what's behind those goals. So if I write down, I want to have a 6-pack, then over the course of writing that down again and again, you'll start to ask yourself, well, wait, why do I want to have a 6-pack? What's behind the 6-pack? And then you start to see, oh, well, if I had a 6-pack, I'd feel more comfortable with my personal appearance, or maybe I can attract more people to me. And then you start to see that it's those feelings that you're after more. You're more so after feeling good in your body and feeling more comfortable and secure talking to other people or attracting other people to you. For me, this has just helped me become clear on what I'm actually after versus what society tells me I should be after. Let's move into some basic crawling. I want you to try to keep your knees as low to the ground as possible, moving the opposite limbs forward. Once you take about 5 steps on each side, straighten the knees and see if you can transition into this bear downward dog crawl as smoothly as possible. How'd that transition go? It's kind of tough, right? Looks easier than it actually is. So we're gonna get another chance here. I want you to start with the knees low and think about just continuing your crawl. Just continue the pattern of crawling, but when you get about halfway down, your knees will just start to straighten out and then you'll bring the hips high. Excellent job. So we're just gonna move right into a shoulder extension stretch here. So you can just take a seat on the ground. You're going to grab your hands behind you. So you clasp the hands. And then what I want you to do is I want you to move the hands as far away as your hips as possible, straightening the elbows and expanding the chest. And then you can go ahead and bend the elbows, and we'll just work between these 2 points. And as you extend the elbows, try to open up as much as possible. Another thing that's helped me over the years to break down my identity is to do things different, do things a little weird. You know, that's why Strength Side is highly different. The reason why I wear these pink pants is because when I put them on, I feel really playful and I feel like I'm almost doing something that is just going against the grain, something that's maybe not super accepted by society. And when I put myself in that state, I become more creative and I detach from who I'm supposed to be and I become who I am. And I do weird stuff like shake my body like this. So go ahead and relax, stand up. How are you feeling at this point? We've been doing a lot of different varied movements here, and it's the reason why I chose to tell this story and talk about this topic on this follow along, because this is most likely going to be completely different than other movements you've done in the past. And this is a crawl switch under. So you start in your crab position. You're gonna lift one arm, lift the opposite leg. You thread the leg through the bottom of your body and you switch around to a crawl position or a downward dog position. You may recognize this one from the 5 primal movements video. And this one was inspired by my buddy Kellen at Movement Parallels Life. And if you're enjoying this follow along, you'll probably enjoy his YouTube channel quite a bit. I recommend giving it a look over or just go do some of his workouts. And in our story, this is almost the pinnacle of being extremely wrapped up in your ego and just, you know, thinking you're the coolest dude out there, you know, me in high school, just thinking I was untouchable, and then something coming and just blowing up my world, you know? And I want you to move back into these switch unders, keeping your hips extended up now. This becomes a lot more challenging. And if this version is too challenging, you could do the previous version. But essentially, this experience, it needed to happen for me. And what I've learned later in life is that you constantly need these humbling experiences. And I think the way that you can experience this is by always putting yourself in a situation that is a little bit out of your comfort zone and that you are a beginner in. If you can constantly take on new tasks, if you're constantly pushing yourself forward and trying to learn new things, then you'll constantly be humbled and you'll get used to living in a state where you're not the best at the thing that you're doing. And I'm just gonna grab a little water break right now, and I suggest you do too if you're feeling a little parched. And speaking of water and speaking of outside of your comfort zone and being humbled, Cold exposure can be one of these humbling experiences that gets you outside of your comfort zone. When's the last time you took a cold shower? Try it today. Maybe you have a lake or a river near that you can go and do a cold plunge in. These are things that'll really knock you out of your head and get you to a clear state of mind. So go ahead and squat down, and we're going to ease ourselves into a shin box position. You'll then use the hand assistance to bring you back up into your squat, and you'll move side to side here. Now, the less assistance you use from the hand, the more demand it is on the hips to control this motion in this extreme rotation here. And if this is really challenging, you can always use both hands and put a lot of weight into the shoulders. So this was my shot at telling a story, sharing some significance and learning lessons from this story, and combining this all into a nice, fun, engaging, different workout. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this story? What do you think about the concepts? How did this make you feel hearing this story while we're doing movement? It's kind of a different experience and something that I think might be pretty cool. But who knows? It could be just me going crazy in quarantine. Just thinking I have the best idea in the world, but really, I'm just a little too trapped in the house. I'm going to show you guys the no hand variation of these squat rotations. So this is advanced and something you need to work up to. There it is. I ease myself down into the shin box position, and then I use some momentum from my arms to come back out of it. And if you have some crazy rotational strength in your hips, you'll need less momentum from the arms, and that is at a high level of hip mobility. How you feeling? We out here moving. We moving our bodies around, and I think it's what our bodies are probably craving right now because we are more so feeling limited in the places that we can go. So the more that we can move our body through ranges of motion, full ranges of motion, new ranges of motion, weird ranges of motion, the more that's actually going to make us feel free inside our bodies. So I move into this nice lunge stretch that we did earlier, but now I'm going to grab the foot behind me, and this is really going to open up the quad muscles here. And once again, I'm just driving that hip forward and down, keeping a neutral spine, squeezing the butt, and trying to get a big stretch through that front of the hip. I've been feeling really inspired lately by a lot of you guys telling me how much you're enjoying the follow-alongs, and there's just a lot of beautiful people out there making good use of the work that I'm putting here on YouTube. And if you guys aren't already aware, we have a follow-along program. It's called Guided, and it's a full library of follow-alongs along with a schedule to follow. And this is one of them. But I had to share this one on YouTube because I loved this workout so much, and I wanted all my YouTube followers to have access to it. Let's move into some frog hops. So you'll stretch your arms out in front of you. This time, place your knees to the side of your elbows and hop yourself forward, taking the weight into your shoulders and floating your feet up beside your hands. This can be a great one to open the hips by really driving the knees out and trying to get into a wide squat position as you hop forward. And on the way back, we're going to change it up to a kick through. So it'll actually start the same as the frog hop, but you're going to bring one leg and you're going to thread it in between the body once again. So you'll put your hands out in front of you, you'll hop, kick one leg through, and then bring it back to the squat position. This can feel very cool and ninja-like as you do this. And I want to add that a lot of these movements are not going to be very good on the first time that you do them. A lot of them you might not even be able to do. And this should motivate you and encourage you to keep on practicing. A lot of these movements take a high level of coordination and organization of the body, which can't be learned on the first time that you try it. It takes practice like any other skill. And that's why my follow-alongs are so damn good. Really though, they're highly different because we're combining strength, we're combining stretching and flexibility, and we're doing some movement that requires you to use that flexibility and mobility and strength that you've been gaining throughout the process. Because the more that you use it, the more that you own it, the easier it is for your body to access all the ranges of motion that you have. And this final exercise today is going to take a high level of coordination. And I'm actually not going to explain it. All I'm going to say is that you already did the crawl switch under earlier, and this starts the exact same pattern. We just moved to a standing position. So play around with this and see if you can figure it out, because that process of figuring it out is so valuable. So by now, I hope that you're feeling good. I hope that you're feeling challenged in new, unique ways to make your body move differently and to make your mind think a little bit different. So as we wrap up here, I want to say I really appreciate you guys being here. And if you made it this far, if you made it to the end of the workout, then good for you. This is not easy, so you should feel good about that. If you are a guided member, we have a few more stretches and movements to use to cool down the body. And here on YouTube, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Keep moving, keep pushing, keep changing. I appreciate everyone. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and do all the other things that the YouTube people say. As always,